for a binding meeting. And I remembered to record. There we go. Fantastic. Welcome, Saturday, people. And what's great is seeing how many people are actually watching the recording, which is fantastic. So those who can't make it here on Saturday mornings with me live, welcome. Blessed to have you listening to the recording anyway, which is second best. Anything somebody would like to share which has been exciting and new that's happened this week? Any motivating stuff? Dr. C, give us something exciting before I climb in. He's there. Probably busy. He's always busy. If anybody ever believes that men can't do more than two things at once, they haven't met Dr. Clinton. All right. Well, most important people are here. Mr. Arend, Anthony B, Krista coming regularly now, which is wonderful. Lovely to see you guys. We'll hear from Dr. C a bit later on, just on some updates of what's been happening, because it's still happening. Even if you don't see it, it is happening. So let's climb in. Let's climb in. First question. Oops, where are we? There we are. First question, into the chats. Did anybody come up with, did you manage to get anywhere with your purpose statement? Because that's what we were doing. Oh, I haven't changed the date on that. Let me move off that one quickly. Let's bring this up. There. Did anybody manage to get anywhere with their purpose statement or concluding their values? Almost done packing. Anthony B relocating to Namibia. Oh, wow. Okay, that's busy. Some amazing free courses, Dr. DeMartini. Aaron? Yes, absolutely amazing. If you can get on his database, on his because he sends some brilliant stuff out on email once a week as well. He's really got some good stuff that he doesn't hold back on, and you will be able to use his material to the fullest. Whereas a lot of people, the free stuff, they sort of give you a little bit, but then you've got to go onto their courses to get further on that. So DeMartini has got some great stuff. Yeah. Has anybody else managed to get somewhere with their purpose statement, concluding their values? Or before I start, is there any questions about any of that information from before? Is silence no, or is silence that I've put you all to sleep already? Dead quiet. Not yet, not yet, not yet. No questions, not yet. Haven't concluded. I'll take it that you're still busy. It's a process. It is a process. And as I've described before, a lot of what I'm sharing in 20 minutes, 25 minutes, still busy, still working on it. What I'm sharing in 20, 25 minutes is hours of training that I give one-to-one. So yes, it does. Like I said last week, what you need to do is diarize the time. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And I can pretty much guarantee you. So if you haven't managed to get it done yet, have you diarized it? Because pretty much certain that you haven't diarized it. Put in your diary, allocate the time. Pretend that you are spending 10,000 Rand, $1,000, whatever it is, on this, and that you've invested money in it. So now you're going to invest your time and your energy in it. And I've explained that before about investment. But I won't work with anybody if they are not invested personally and investing their time. If those two commitments aren't in, I don't care what money they want to give me. I'm not going to work with them because they're not going to do the work and they're not going to get the results. And that's the key thing. You can come here and join the training or do a DeMartini workshop or exercises or anybody. But if you're not physically doing the exercise, you're wasting your time. You may as well not come. So that's why if there's not 50 people on the call and I've only got 5 or 6 or 7 people, I'm happy, because then the 5 or 6 who are here are committed. The other 45 who are not would just be hanging around and make me feel nice because there's lots of people listening. I'd rather have a few people who are doing something and you guys are doing it. So keep going, keep going. It's a process. And that's where the recordings come in, refer back to them all the time. Yeah, so that was the purpose statement. Today, we're going to start going through what's the 5 points of clarity. Now, I may not finish it all. In fact, I probably won't. And this is all beginning the process of unpacking why you do this, but not your typical why you do it because I want to make money, because I need a new house, because I don't have a job, I don't have, no. That's the surface level stuff, which we typically talk about. What I'm talking about here is getting deeper. And it's not just about dreams and goals. I'm going to talk a bit about why they don't work shortly. And it's about getting a lot deeper on that. As Tony Robbins says, whatever you focus on is what you get. And then we'll be doing some Q&A and updates. Oh, here's a great one. I love this quote. I don't know if you guys know Abraham Hicks. He's actually a channeler. No, well, he's not the channeler. He is the spirit guide. Your work is to create the feeling in yourself even before you have what it is you want. And all too often, and this is where I've found has been missing in a lot of my own personal goal strategies, is missing the energy connection and the feeling state. That is what creates it. And we won't talk about no problem, Monica. Hello. And I'm not going to go into things like your RAS, which is your reticular activating system, and those things right here. But we are going to be speaking about understanding the importance of energy, your personal energy, and also the feeling state that you're in, how you're feeling. Because as Tony Robbins says, whatever you focus on is what you get. So if you're focusing on negativity, what are you going to get? Good stuff? No. Negative stuff. If you're focusing on lack, what I don't have, what are you going to get? More of what you don't have. That's the mindset paradigm shift change, which 99% of people struggle through. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment, about one of the key things about why that is, for that basic understanding before we get into your personal whys. So the purpose statement, I'm not going to touch on this now. This is what we went through last week, is about describing or creating that overarching reason as the guide, that statement, that sentence, that paragraph, and I shared mine with you. If you missed it, go back and listen to the recording. That is your guide. That's your lighthouse, your beacon, and everything that you do needs to be aligned to that. And when it's aligned to that, you're energized, motivated, inspired, excited. Everything that you do will happen, and it'll happen naturally and beautifully because it is who you are. Broken down into that detail, and you now discovered, who am I? And you've got that gap, which is now you're working out, who am I going to be? Will I be? Do I want to become? Now, how do I get there? This is all part of that strategy in that session. So let's climb into this. So the start of this is 5 pointers to create more clarity. So I want to get a little bit of a clearer picture in your mind before we go down into the individual steps. As always, and I refer to this right at the beginning, is identifying and knowing where you are right now. So this is like that GPS. We all understand how a GPS works. GPS is you open the app and it's going to say, you are here. If you open the app and it says, where do you want to go? And you say, I want to go over there. It's not going to be able to take you there because it doesn't know where you are. And that's the key point, is in identifying and understanding that. And everybody's here because you're looking for those few key strategies to help you go from where you are to where you want to be. You're not looking for a million ways or 7 easy steps. You're looking for those strategies so that you can get ahead in life. And it's often said there's only 2 reasons that people will move or take action. One is to move away from pain or towards pleasure. Moving away from pain or moving towards pleasure. Which are you? Where are you going? Unfortunately, our years of experience, education, indoctrination, whatever you want to call it, leads us to focusing more on the pain than it does on the pleasure. And then when we focused our years in focusing on the pain, what we can't do, and all the bad stuff, I'm not good enough, I'm fat, I'm ugly, I'm not clever, I'm stupid, all those things, I'll talk about that now, That's what we end up by focusing on, as opposed to the good stuff, the pleasure. I am who I am victorious, I am strong, I am powerful, I can achieve, I will achieve. But let's not lose sight of the importance of the information that you've received up until this point in your life, be it that it's 2 decades or 5 decades, 6 decades or more, doesn't matter. That education, that experience, that knowledge that you've had has created who you are today. So from who you are today, you can look back and say, what worked and what didn't work. And it starts with saying, what don't you want in life? If we're programmed to think negatively, and 90 to 95% of our activities is done unconsciously, of which our unconscious activities, about 80% of it are negative thoughts. 90 to 95% of your activities during the day is done unconsciously. And of that 80%, the vast majority are negative. Can you understand why we struggle so much? Let me give you an example. Who drives? Put in the chats. Who drives? You've got a driving license, you've got a car, and you drive. Who's driving? Where's my chats gone? Who's driving? I can't see the chats. What's going on? Anybody drive? Driving license? Got a car? Thumbs up. I've lost my screen. I've lost my chats for some reason. Where's it gone? Technology. Why is it letting me down again? Did this last week. There we go. Thank you. Okay. Now that's because no one's chatting. That's why. I drive. Aaron drives. I drive a motorbike. Tina. Wow. Awesome. I have a license, but not a car. But you know how to drive. So here's the question. When you climb into your car, the very first time you did it, can you remember you sat there and you had to look at your feet? You had to look at the steering wheel to know which side's the indicators. You had to look at the gear stick to know, okay, well, first is there, second is there, third is there. And you had to look at all this and think all the time. You went through this checklist, mirror, seatbelt, all these things. Now when you drive, how often do you think about those things? How often do you think about, oh, I need to move my foot? Or is it automatic? It's automatic, right? You're not thinking about it. See, it's ingrained in your unconscious thinking. You don't have to logically or consciously think about how to drive. And with our 60 to 70 to 80,000 thoughts that you have a day, 90 to 95% of them are done unconsciously, out of habit, out of programming. Our lives are programmed actions, and most of them are negative. It's how we're ingrained, which is why it is so difficult to focus continuously on the positive things, on the moving forward. And you end up by only seeing the negative. It's programming. This is the way that our minds are created. So how do you alter this? Well, that's the key question. Here's an iceberg. And the iceberg I'm going to use is a reflection of your subconscious mind. On here it says 90% of your subconscious mind. It's a debate. It's 90 to 95, but it's the vast majority. And your subconscious mind is created, all those programmings, those thoughts, the beliefs, the emotions, the habits, your values, your imagination, your intuition, your long-term memory is all stored in the subconscious mind. And your subconscious mind develops up until the age of 7 to 8 years old. Usually people looking at their phones while they're driving. Yeah, I don't have to think about driving. Let me look at my phone. Yeah, not a good idea. So your subconscious mind developed until the age it develops. It's like a sponge. That's why kids, when they're little, they can pick up languages like this. But yet, as we get older, to learn a new language is just like, don't ask me to do that. our minds are like, our conscious thinking minds aren't developing yet. It's our subconscious minds that are. So here's what happens when you are young. Tell me if you relate to this. Your parents, siblings, teacher said to you, you're not good enough. You can't do that. You're stupid. Don't be so silly. Go sit in the corner. You're not clever. You're fat. You're ugly. Your nose is big. Did anybody have any of these things? I did. I was told by teachers I'm stupid. I was told by teachers I'm never going to amount to anything. I'm worthless. Oh, yes, Aaron says. So you told this. Teachers, siblings, society, friends, kids around the playground. Hey, Aaron, you got a big nose. You got a big nose. You're never going to amount to anything. And here you are wanting to, in the age of 30, 40, 50, 60, start a business. You're here wanting to really impact people's lives and with all good intentions, bring people into power gifting or your own business as an entrepreneur. And you want to start out, but you can't pick up that phone because subconsciously your mind says, who are you kidding? You're never going to amount to anything. Indoctrinated belief. Nobody's going to listen to you. You're stupid. Indoctrinated belief. And so you don't pick up the phone because your self-worth is low. Purely because some kid teased you in the playground when you were a kid because you didn't do well in maths. That was my story. I was the back of the class. I was in the immigrants Afrikaans class, even though I was born in South Africa and grew up in South Africa. That's how bad I was because I was told I was awful at Afrikaans. So I said, okay, I'm awful at Afrikaans. So now if you tell me, I'll say to you, I'm horrible at Afrikaans. Why? Because I was told I was. Doesn't mean I am, but that's what I believe. I'll still tell you now, I can't spell. Why? Because the teachers told me I can't spell. It was indoctrinated belief. Here's the school reports. I've got this. Ooh. Let's not go to that story. So this is where you struggle now later in life because of these indoctrinated beliefs from when you were young. Those impact how you think now. This is why it is so easy, because you're told no so often, you can't do this, don't do that, sit down and be quiet, only talk when you're spoken to, all of these things. Money doesn't grow on trees, all this nonsense that we're all fed as children, as kids, by loving parents and people who don't know what they're doing. And then later in life, it impacts you that you're only thinking about the negative. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I want you to grab a pen and paper. You've all got one of these. I've spoken about having one of these before when you come to training. Yeah, Lauren's busy hunting feverishly. He's the only one I can see his camera off. If you've got one of these, give me a thumbs up or a yes or something that you've got one of these handy. You should always have. There we go. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Okay. I want you to sit back. And I want you to ask yourself out loud, not in your head, out loud. And you're going to write this now. I want you to write the first 5 things that come to mind that you do not want in your life. Ask it out loud. What do I not want in my life? 5 things, first 5 that come to mind, whatever they are, write it down and give me a thumbs up when you're done. I don't want to be lonely. I don't want to have debt. I don't want to lose my house. What don't you want? Don't want to be a failure. Give me a thumbs up when you're done. We'll just put in the chat box there. Done. Don't dig deep. It should be the first 5 things. That's why you ask it out loud. What don't I want? To be scared, to have fear, to lose my house, lose my car. To keep fighting with my kids. To keep fighting with my spouse, husband, wife. I don't want to go to work on Monday. I don't want this training session to ever end. Done, done, done. Cool. Quick story while you finish up there. Personal story. And share a personal story with you guys. It was January 2021. South Africa was still in COVID, as was the world, in this pandemic mess, controlled. But we were coming out of it. So now we were allowed to go outside, but we still weren't allowed to walk on the beach for some unknown reason anyway. And as every year, the wife and I, we sat down, we do this, we still do this to this day. We sat down, we've done this since 2008, I think it was. Every year we sit down, January, December, and December, January, we say, what are we going to achieve this year? We had a dream wall in our house, huge cupboard. And you walked in the front door, so everybody walked in would see this, made it real for us. We would put pictures of where we wanted to go, what we wanted to do, what we wanted to have, who I wanted to be, what course I wanted to attend, and we'd fill this with pictures and things. And top the date was there every year, 2021. But 2021 came, and 2020 stuff was still on the wall, and it had not gone anywhere because of what we were all, right? And so I sat down, I said to Monica, said to the wife, what do you want to do this year? And she says, I've got no idea. Because all around it was just negative. Is what we could see on the wall was what we had not done. And she says, what do you want to do? And I said, I don't know. And then I asked her and I said, what don't you want this year? And we both said the same thing. We don't want the same as last year. What was last year? Forced to stay indoors, forced to do this, forced to go nowhere. We said, that's what we don't want. When you know what you don't want, what's the opposite of it? So either now while I'm talking or separately, carry on this. And next to what you wrote that you don't want, you write the opposite, because what you don't want is on one side, and on the other side is what you do want. So then I said to her, okay, if we know what we don't want, what do we want? And the answer came, freedom. Freedom. Then I asked the next question, what does freedom mean? It said, we miss travel. We're travel bugs. I think you guys can know that now by now. So we love travel. Let's get out of here. So we can't get out of South Africa at the moment. And also we've got our dogs. So traveling internationally was a challenge. And I said, let's sell everything, buy a van and convert it and just go and travel and be free. Smell the roses, have peace, leave all of this chaos, mess, craziness behind, get out of a city, go into the country. Go stay on farms around South Africa and go and travel. Go walk on beaches where no one around and no one can tell us we can or we can't. But we only got to that point of knowing what we wanted once we knew what we did not want. And if you know my story, we did that for 1.5 years. That's how we ended up in our beautiful little seaside town of Langebaan, where we live now. Got out of the city. That's my story. So sometimes to know what you do want, focus on what you don't want. This is then your conscious thinking mind, 5 to 10% of it. This is where the logical thinking is, the creativity, the willpower, the short-term memory, long-term memories, and the subconscious mind. But only 5 to 10% of your daily thoughts, your daily actions are done from the conscious thinking mind. And later down the line, we're going to do an exercise. I've offered it to quite a few of you before. Some of you, I think, have done it already who are on the call. I can't see who's everybody's on the call. Where we're actually going to get into your subconscious thinking mind or your subconscious mind to start doing a little bit of digging to find out some detailed stuff which is hidden in there, which you can bring forward to your conscious mind and start changing how you act logically during the day. But if you don't know why you act or think a certain way, it is because it's done subconsciously. So you need to dig down into that. So that's the mind. So back onto the 5 points of clarity. Who are you right now and what don't you want in life? Here's your homework. Here's your homework. This is the stuff to do. It's easy one, this. And I actually love this. I do it quite frequently. I'd say probably every 3-4 months of the year, I'll sit and write this. It's called a future vision statement. Has anybody done one of these before? A future vision statement, where what you're looking at, if you have done, put in the chat box there. What you're doing is you're looking at a certain time down the line. So 1 year, 2 years, 5 years down the line. And you're putting yourself in that place now and writing a story or writing your journal. I typically do it as I'm journaling as to what is happening in my life at that set point. Now, sometimes I don't, very often, in fact, so I don't go as far as 5 years. I normally work on 12 months. 12-month stints. That's personal. You can do 2 years, 5 years, whichever feels good to you. No one's done one of these before? Love it. Brilliant. It is 1 year from now. What does your life look like? It is March 2025. What does your life look like? What have you done in the past year? So everything that you write, when you're now journaling this or writing the story, and it needs to be written, one of these, the activation in your brain is very different when you're writing than if you're typing. Whatever comes out, you write. And you'll be surprised what comes out. What has happened in the past year? How much money have I made? What progress have I made in power gifting, in my business, in tradition, in family, in life? I'm looking for a partner. I've been lonely. Who is that person? I met this person. This is who they are. That's it. You're writing in history. So everything's written in past tense. But you're writing it in the top. You write there. What's the date today? March the what? 9 March 2025. Wow, what an amazing year the past year has been. I can't believe how much I've done in the past 12 months. This happened. I met that. I traveled there. I went this. I lived like a legend in power gifting. And now I'm so close to being a leader of legends. And my gifts are coming in. And I bought that car I was always dreaming about. Write it all down. How have you helped others? What have you done? How's your relationship with your kids, your spouse, your partners? No restrictions. There is no restriction in your imagination apart from you. And when you're writing, just let it flow. I've thought of the most amazing things, or let's say I've written the most amazing things. And only then, once I've written it, I've thought, oh, that's pretty cool. It wasn't a thought before I'd written it down. It's a future vision statement. Who's in for that? Who thinks that's a good idea? Give me a thumbs up or a yes. Yeah, Aaron likes that one. Thank you. I can't see you. You haven't got your cameras on, so you're going to have to type, please, because then otherwise I don't see. Who thinks that's a good exercise? Aaron does. It's a great idea. And if you've got kids, get them to do it as well. Get them to dream with you, but writing it in the future. It's very difficult to sit here and say, this year, I want to do this, 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 and this. So take yourself to next year and say, wow, look what I've done. I wrote that book. I say that because I've got my book still sitting on the wall here. I'm coming to it. Great idea, Krista. Go for it. That's your homework. No restrictions. And make a habit of it. Every 3-4 months, twice a year if you want. Do this. This is the start for you beginning to realize what you do actually want. Just these 2 simple exercises. People struggle. I don't know what I want to do, where I want to go, what I want to be. Do a future vision statement. Or write down what you don't want. And then you'll identify what you do want. The next question may be, how am I going to get there? Don't worry about the how for now. Absolutely not necessary for the moment of how you're going to get there. It is immaterial. Okay. Is there any questions on what I've spoken about, or would anybody like to share anything that they wrote down with what they don't want? Small group, yes, you're welcome to unmute. Ningi, what don't you want this year? Share something. You've done a future vision statement before. I'm sure you have. Would have been one of the networks or the coaching sessions we've done in the past.
Good morning, everyone. I don't want stagnation. That's a big one. Yes.
Stagnation. Sorry, did you say stagnation?
Yes, I said stagnation.
Wow, that's a big one.
I don't want a repeat of the last 3 or 4 years, where at a quick glimpse, it looks like it's the same. So in 2024, that's a definite no-no.
Thank you. Yeah, that's it. Don't want stagnation. Very easy to see how so many people could feel that. Seem to be doing things but going. Who's that?
Tim, can I say?
Go ahead, Joyce.
Tim, for me, one of the biggest things is I don't want to be surrounded by negative people. Ooh. I am going to run as fast and as far as possible for that influences in my life.
And that can be a very deep one when negative people could very well be close friends and family members.
Exactly.
Yeah. Their negativity, it's not your duty or job to try and turn them around. It's your duty and job to make sure you're positive. So to be in their environment, that's a huge one, Joyce. That's a huge one. The negativity around us is very palpable. So find those communities, those groups, those networks, those friends, and I often say it. In fact, a big portion of what I speak about when it comes to obstacles and roadblocks, and we'll get to there in a couple of months' time. One of the big things that I talk about is saying, you may need new friends. You may need new friends who are supporting you, who are encouraging you. Yeah. Jabulani, procrastination. Ooh. Now, Jabulani, would you like me to just talk on 2 minutes about procrastination? That's a brilliant one, by the way. I'm going to share on that quickly, or should we come back to that another time? I love that one. Don't want procrastination. You want me to talk on that now quickly? See if I can change your paradigm about procrastination. Monica, I'm fighting for my independence and freedom. You don't want to, so what you don't want is to be dependent on others and to be restricted and controlled. That's what you don't want. Love it. That energy with that negativity, because of our ingrained state and living in so much more negativity, you'll find more motivation and negative energy to move you to independence and freedom by focusing on what you don't want. I don't want this control. That's what the wife and I did. I don't want that restriction. That gave us the motivation and the inspiration to actually move. Okay, so Jabulani doesn't want me to talk about procrastination. I'll talk about that at another point. Thanks for sharing, guys. So when it comes to why do you want these things? Why do you want independence and freedom, Monica? Why do you not want to procrastinate? Ningi, why do you not want stagnation? That question, digging deep and using a little bit of NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, if you know what that is, of getting deep into the subconscious mind to find the deep-seated reason why that is so important to you. And I can tell you why, for me, when it came down to the restrictions and the control and the freedom, because I've always pushed against control and gone and done other things, do something first, then ask permission later. I've done that for years. As a kid at school, I was controlled. They said, don't do this. I said, explain to me why. And they wouldn't, because you're told, I told you not to, so I'll go and do it anyway. I was never naughty, but I just go and do it anyway. So go down, why? Why do you not want it? And this is a process called 7 levels deep. And I'll talk more about that in the next couple of days, but this, a couple of weeks. But this is getting down to the root core, the root of your deep-seated motivation. What really motivates you? And it'll be one thing. Great stuff, guys. So you've got an exercise to do as well as carry on from the what you don't want in life and then identifying the opposite of it and having a look at the future vision statement and writing that story. And if you want to share with me something that came up in that story, please, you're welcome to. If you're going to share it on the group, do that. Inspire someone. Inspire someone else. So thank you very much. That is my share for today. And I see we've got, wonderful, Coach B's joined us. Hello, Bernadette. I missed you guys. So thank you very much. I hope you find that useful. Every week I'm going to share something else on just getting to a bigger perspective, bigger thinking, having a look at what is in our heads and how does this apply. Lots of digging in, Krista. Yeah, but this one's more fun. The other ones could get quite serious last week and the week before. I like doing these ones. These ones definitely get more fun and the juice is flowing, especially when it comes to writing that future vision statement. I'd love to hear your stories. Wonderful share. Thank you. Should we get a quick update from Dr. C? Dr. C, what's new and exciting?
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much again, Tim. I've been doing these kind of talks for many years as well with people. The thing that I come to always is to get to a place where you can make a conscious decision. Because when you make a conscious decision, you are saying to yourself, this is a decision I'm making that I'm going to stick with. And so that is very, very important and vital information that you shared with us this morning. And I hope everybody on this call can just glean from that, because it's important to find exactly what the will, plan, purpose, and destiny of God is for us. So God bless you for that. And then just a quick update. I'm trying to talk fast because of the background noise I've got. Just a quick one. I've spoken to the developers again. The team was working throughout the night. They have to manually upload stuff, and so it's taking some time. I'll get a proper update when the guys wake up again in India, because they were working through the night to get us up and running. So please just give us a little bit more time. We are working at it. As soon as it's done, and after I've tested and I'm happy, we will go live. So just keep the fire burning. That's all from my side. Thank you so much. You are muted, Tim. You are muted.
There we go. Talk to myself. Yeah, thanks a lot for that update. Appreciate it. And I know you're not looking forward to when I say, Dr. C, what's new? And you're thinking, okay, not a lot. There is a lot, actually. It's just never as easy as we all wish it was. But we're still there. They're still there. There's still meetings happening. No one's run away, guys. We're sort of in a holding pattern. It's like that plane just flying and holding pattern. We're not going down, not going up, we're just holding at the moment. So you guys, by being here every week, huge respect for you, that you're sticking, that you've got the belief, that you still know what it is that is our bigger goal. That has not changed. And in fact, if anything, it's getting more ingrained as we go down time of what it is that we will achieve. So I'm still here. We're still here. You guys are the mentors we meet every week. Ningi and myself and Dr. C, we meet virtually every single day during the week. So that at least 3 or 4 times we're staying connected. We've got meetings with the programmers. We've got meeting with other people as well. And there's stuff happening. So hang in there. Hang in there. It's like planting the seeds. Where's our farmer, Festina? She knows all about it. It's about planting those seeds. The seeds are being planted. You're not going to be able to pick the fruit this week. But hang in there. You are the seeds. You're nurturing your minds. Festina, hello.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, I don't like saying good morning. Greetings. I'll tell you sometime why I don't like to say good morning. Just quickly want to tell you, I don't know if I've done this a couple of years ago. I live in the bushveld, which means we don't really plant anything unless it's fenced in, because we've got warthog and we've got free roaming kudu and impala and waterbuck and eland and giraffe and everything. It's like a small little Kruger that we've got. But anyway, so a couple of years ago, and I used to farm cattle. A couple of years ago, I decided that I wanted to plant some grazing for the cattle, and I fenced in 8 hectares, which was a very, very expensive exercise just to fence it in. So I prepared the field, did everything that you do if you want to plant. Now, remember, I can't irrigate where I live, so I've got to ply dry land. It means I depend on the rain because I can't irrigate. I just can't. We don't have enough water. Anyways, so I fenced it in, prepared the field, watched the forecast for the rain, and planned it perfectly when to actually sow these 8 hectares. And I did. I mean, the planning was perfect. I'm a Virgo, so I do like to work out things exactly. Not that it always goes accordingly to that, but then at least I know I did my bit. Anyway, so sowed these seeds. It's imported from Brazil because it was a Brazilian grass I wanted to plant. The reason for this is it's got a lifespan of 10 years, which means it grows for 10 years and then I've got to redo it. Anyway, the rain didn't come. I thought, oh, well, I'll just do it again. Again, watch the rain forecast, what was planned for it, and a couple of weeks later, in January now, actually a couple of months, 2-3 months later, I went through this whole exercise again, imported seeds, planted, costed me an absolute fortune, and the rain didn't come. And I decided at that point in time, that's it, me, I'm not going to plant any more grazing for cattle. They've got to live off the field like they did the last 10, 20 years. I'm done with this. Lo and behold, the next season, I went back to those. If I say the next season, I mean a year later, in the next rainy season, I went back because we've got a big farm. So it's not funny that I don't get to everywhere in a year's time. Anyway, a year later, I went to the 8 hectares, and you wouldn't believe me, 80% of that grass actually sprouted and was growing. That 8 hectares, by then things have changed. My daughter rescued 12 donkeys that were in horrible condition, and the 12 donkeys lived in those 8 hectares with planted grazing for a very, very long time. So, you know, it's for a year I didn't revisit it. I thought, well, I fenced in 8 hectares with Bonox fencing. You can go and see what that cost you per 100 meters, not only the fencing material, the labor to fence it. I prepared the fields, I imported seed twice, planted twice. It was an absolute fortune. But a year later, 80% of it worked out. It wasn't then applied anymore for what I wanted it. It was then like a little haven for these donkeys. But anyways, if you plant correctly, if you seed correctly, you never know what might come from it. Anyway, that's just another farming story.
And that's amazing. Thanks so much for sharing. Yeah, that's it. Sometimes you got to put the seeds out there. You got to trust, and you just got to leave. Sometimes we just got to leave these things. But everything that you're doing today, everything you're doing this week, the people that you're speaking to, you never know when they're going to come around. Stay consistent to what your message is. Keep posting if that's what you're doing, because you never, ever know who's going to turn around to you at their time when they're ready and say, Aaron, you still doing that gifting thing with that power thingy, with that funny thingy? And you say, why are you interested? No, it's time now. I need an option. So, great, let's go. They're ready. They'll sell themselves. Plant those seeds every day, continuously, consistently. You never know when it's going to be ready, when they are going to be ready. Thanks for sharing that. I'm going to say that's enough for today. Unless there's any questions or somebody's got something to pick up. Sometimes when we quit trying so hard, just set your intention and keep trusting. Wow, yep, Tina, it will come. Love it, definitely. Thanks, Monica. Saturday is my personal motivation day with this group. This is the good stuff, which is what Joyce was talking about, connecting with positive people, being away from the negativity of everything that goes on around us. You can decide how you want to react to it after all. So if there is any questions, now is the time to raise your hand. Counting down, 5, 4, 3, 2. Thank you, Joyce. Until next week, well, until Monday for our presentation. And thank you, Dr. C. And well, let's put it out there, everybody. Send your energy to these developers that they have got the magic fingers this weekend. And Dr. C gives sign off on Monday, and we are good to go. Let's hope for that. Thank you all very much. Have an amazing weekend. Thanks for joining here today. And I look forward to sharing more with you next week, Saturday. Ciao, everyone.
Bye. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Have a great weekend.